Hi, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. We got back a little while ago, just before dark actually, luckily so that we could make some videos about the works in progress on our office come workshop, and Nanai's house, which was of great interest to Beth and I, of course, on a personal level. So we got back in time to do that, but our day was a very busy day. We actually tried. All that we were missing was, let me see if I can find something that it kind of looked like. Now, if you imagine that, but with no back to it, just imagine that it was a circle like that. And then on the inside, you can see here that this is serrated. Look, it's grooved. Well, the grooves, it's fluted, are on the inside, on what the Filipinos call a stick bearing. In other words, it's not a ball bearing with a race of an outside, an inside, and then balls, if you pardon the expression, rolling around on there. That's a ball bearing. But this one was very simple, and it was about that big actually. So it turned out that had not been replaced in the holder for the top and bottom. It's almost a shape like this, and then the shaft comes through, the drive shaft actually comes through here, and the last thing that it touches before it goes onto having the lockable hub is this bearing that is called a stick bearing. And the drive shaft and everything had been changed, and it was brand new, and it was fitted, and it's still in very good working order, but unfortunately this simple bearing has gone down. It's broken up, and it's difficult to find it. And amazingly, what we ended up doing was going to a recycling or salvage, if you like. We call them in the US, and I think in the UK we call them breakers yards. Well, we went to the equivalent of a breakers yard, which turns out that it's just like a workshop, and absolutely crammed, packed, full of different parts. And what the man did was he found this piece that had a bearing in it. Now those bearings are only pushed in, right? They're not welded in, they're not screwed in or anything. You just put the ring down onto the hole, and then you tap it all around, and it gradually sinks in. And it can only go so far because there's a lip which it comes up against. Right, so it can only go. So it got all messed up there. One of the lights went out, so I had to change position. But as I was saying, we went round many different salvage yards with looking for that bearing. I thought that it was a completely hopeless case, but then the guy came in and he pulled the same part out, but that had come from a Kia Sportage, and the two were identical. So we looked at the place on the part that we brought with us to see if it would fit, and he measured the actual bearing itself. We went off thinking that he would never be able to get it out and in a serviceable condition, and then as a last resort, loads of mosquitoes tonight, but as a last resort we had given up actually. We went to the legit new places where you could buy stuff. Tabeel is one, and then some other stuff that some other different stores, and none of them could help. So finally we went back to see if this guy had managed to get the thing out, and he had. He charged us 500 pesos, which didn't seem too bad to me. It was more than I thought, but then we were not paying him for the part, we were paying him for his labour, really. So we came back, we dropped it off at Nestor's. We did manage to get the new headlight which we needed. Now that was an expensive piece. That and the rubber seal that kept that bearing dry, that and the little cap that went in, there was a sealer, and they're all pressed in there, and that cost 6,000 pesos just for the headlight. But of course nowadays those headlights are huge wraparound things, so I guess it was to be expected. So all's well that ends well, and we will be able to pick up the blue tomorrow, and we've decided that we'll get, probably for somebody owning this nearer to Tagbilaran, it wouldn't be a big hassle, but for us we have to go, and it means 7 or 8 hours driving for me today. 7 or 8 hours driving. It's a lot. So once we've been to Tagbilaran, we had to pass our home and go straight to Talabon, do what we had to do there, see Nestor, talk to him, and then come home and get home in time to do a work in progress video on Nanai's house and on our own storage come workshop. So we did all of that, and yet here we are. It's still, well, let me see on my new clock, it's 10:20 at night now, and here we are still working. Beth has gone to bed, and so that's a good thing. So thanks for looking in, thanks for commenting, thanks for liking, especially if you would, and we'll be looking at you again. Bye for now.